Hello all, my name's SirBoberus and welcome back to my channel. These are my pickups for the month of May 2021. So starting us off, my first game pickup in addition to the collection, as you can see on screen here, was Rayman Origins. I managed to pick this game up off of eBay and I paid £6 for it. It's complete with the manual, and even though it's got a sticker from Game, I think it was a pretty good price, and I was looking forward to playing it actually, especially because it has co-op, and I was looking forward to playing it with a couple of friends. Moving on from that, I had one other eBay pickup, and it was a bundle of two games for £3.70. So that was Rugby League Live 2, which I'm not a huge rugby fan, to be honest, but considering there was a Game of the Year edition code in here, as well as being complete in box, and it came with, as well, Rugby League Live 3, which I highly recommend you check out the prices for these on CEX, because they are very expensive games, believe it or not, and it was actually a very good price for the two of them. It was probably because most people on eBay didn't know the value of rugby games, but it's always nice to tick some sports games off the list. Talking of ticking sports games off of the list, I had one trip to CEX during this month, and I picked up a total of 6 games, the first of which being 2K Sports NBA 2K9. Now, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but once again, when you find a game in this good a condition in the CEX, and it's a basketball game in the UK, you definitely have to take it. That's because the basketball, your Maddens, your NHL, they're all rarer in the UK, as those sports are less popular, and as a result, I picked this up immediately. The second game I picked up was a strange one, considering I don't own the accessory required, but I saw Lips number 1 hits for 50p, and even though you do need a microphone, I picked it up just because it was available. It's got a large selection of songs from about the mid noughties to 2010s in it, and it was perfect condition, complete in box, and it rounded up my price for my CEX haul to about £16, I think it was, so it made it an even number, and I didn't have to bring so much change home, which was good. Moving on from Lips, though, a game that I picked up that I was highly recommended to play is Cameo Elements of Power. Now, I've seen Cameo many a time, but it's always in the Classics box, so finding this original copy with the manual complete in box is pretty much perfect for me. This means I can play the game, finally, and get some of the achievements out of it and experience it. Apparently it's very good, so I'll have to give it a try. Moving on from that, I picked up another sports game. It was quite a sports game heavy month, to be honest. And that was Virtua Tennis 4. Now, this completes all of the Virtua Tennis games for me, and unfortunately it's a promotional disc in my standard base copy, but if anyone needs a promotional disc and has a standard one, I'm more than happy to switch it out. Regardless, it was a decent pickup, and I thought because it was in such high quality I'd grab it. I was considering going back to CEX to change the disc, but it's not that big an issue to me. I'd like to get the full set before I go nitpicking all of my games. Although if I do see another copy with a standard disc, I will pick it up immediately. Moving on from that, my next pickup was the Scott the Woz game, as I like to call it, Madden 08. If you've ever seen Scott the Woz's YouTube channel, he's obsessed with this game, which is pretty funny to me. Anyway, I picked it up because it was, as I said earlier, a Madden game, a less popular sports game in the UK, in brilliant condition, and an older one at that, because the older ones seem to be destroyed all the time. And it was only 50p, and it was a decent tick off the list, and added another one to the shelf. And finally, the big pickup which brought up the price from CEX was Lara Croft Tomb Raider Anniversary. I've heard about this game, and I've never actually played a Tomb Raider game, although I know all about them, and I actually own one of them on the Xbox One, I think. So I'm looking forward to playing this one as my first one. An anniversary title means I'll experience what the series used to be, and I can see how it's developed. It looks really fun, to be honest, from the gameplay I have watched online, and I think I'll be giving it a go in about the next week as one of the games that I'm looking to play. Now, lastly, there was one trip to the charity shops that I took, and it was absolutely awful. Basically, nothing came up until the very last one, where I went in and there was 5 games for £1. I'd initially only wanted 2 of the games, and the lady in the shop had said, well, that'd be £2, or you can have 5 for £1. So I went back and got 3 others just to fill up the numbers. So the first thing I wanted wasn't even actually a game. It was an Xbox 360 demo disc. Now, I have a few demo discs in the sleeves, the cardboard ones, but I saw this one in the plastic case, and it was really intriguing to me, especially because of the massive new Halo 3 making of movie sticker. I thought that'd be quite interesting to watch. It doesn't have a manual in it, of course, but it had the disc in there. And there was a second one of these in the shop, which was Crackdown themed, but it didn't have the disc in it, unfortunately, so I couldn't take that home with me. Now, the second thing I picked up was a game to tick off the list, which was FIFA World Cup Germany 2006. Now, this is actually a different game to the FIFA Road to World Cup 06, which I've completed and got the full 1,000 gamer score in. This one is an entirely separate game, although strangely it has the same icon on the Xbox app itself. I've got 500 gamer score out of this so far, which is ridiculously easy to do for you achievement hunters out there. It's just beating Germany in a one-off game of football's 50 gamer score, for example, and there's only 5 achievements. The only difficult one in there is beat all the scenarios, so you have to come from behind, for example. But if you're remotely decent at football games, I would say that this is worth playing for the achievements. On top of that, I needed it because it was the last World Cup game, so I've got all of the World Cup games now for the FIFA franchise. I just need to pick up all of the main lines, which is going to be a proper pain. Moving on from that, I had to make up the numbers, and I already own this game, so it's a trade copy, and I know it's a very cheap game, but if anyone wants it, you can have it, basically. I've got a complete inbox, hollow sticker and everything, FIFA 07. It's got the manual, everything. The only thing it's missing is the 48-hour trial of Xbox Live, which the sticker is on there for. But I picked that up just as either a case replacement, or if a fellow collector wants this game along with a couple of others that I have, we could definitely work out a deal sort of thing. Moving on, there weren't any more Xbox 360 games there, and while there were a few PS2 games that, are always rotting there, like Buzz or a FIFA game, for example, I decided instead I would pick up original Xbox games, as I plan to own that console, and I am obsessed with Xbox, to be honest. So, the fourth game I picked up was EA Sports FIFA Football 2003, which I picked up because it was in, again, really good condition, complete with a manual, and it had terribly boring disc art, which I thought was quite funny. But in general, it looked pretty alright on the back of the box, and in such good condition, it was definitely worth it, because if I ever do decide to collect original Xbox, or even if I just buy a few more, it's at very least a case replacement backup. And last but not least, the game that I picked up for my fifth one was EA Sports Rugby 2005. Again, it was a case of there weren't very many Xbox games, and I didn't want to just pick up 2 FIFAs because it was boring, and I thought it would make a better part of the video if I showed you a rugby game instead of another FIFA game, because we don't really want to oversaturate it. So I would say this month has been a pretty good month of pickups. We've bought in a reasonable amount of games. That's about 14 games I think we've picked up there. And it's a decent amount of additions, but I'm hoping to have a better month this month as I've got access to work again after coming out of lockdown, and I've got disposable income as a result. On top of that, I'm hoping that I'll be able to have a couple of trips out because we're heading into the summer now, and the car boots might just start opening in my area. So I'm hoping to show you a much better haul next month, which has much less sports games in it, because I know that might have been a bit disappointing. But with that being said, I'd like to thank you very much for watching my video, and I'll see you all soon.